How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another...
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, this is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Another sidekick.
No, he's not a sidekick, and that's what I find most puzzling about this.
Rocket Boy would be a sidekick.
Yeah, you would think that he would be. I mean, he's Rocket Boy. That's one of the things that I found most perplexing about this, is he didn't appear on the same comic as Rocket Man. He appeared in the next issue. He is Rocket Boy, but he's not the partner for Rocket Man and Rocket Girl. They don't appear in, I mean, they appear in the same comic, but they don't appear in the same story in either issue. Now, he does have 4 appearances, but only 2 stories, because the other 2 are reprints. Now, it's a weird concept because they give this kid the rocket pack. They've never met him. They don't show him how to use it. But yet, it doesn't make sense because, like, they leave him a letter. We've learned of you, Billy. Here's something for you to use against Block Pete and his gang, Rocket Man and Rocket Girl. That's incredibly irresponsible. I mean, you just give this kid a rocket pack, and I assume that you give him the suit because the suit looks like yours. I don't know how you figured out this kid's measurements, but, I mean, you could have, you're in the same publication. You could have had a page or 2 where you showed up, showed him how to use it, and then went on your way, but you don't appear in either issue. So, since he only has 2 stories, we're going to go ahead and cover both stories here. These stories, the only connection that they have to them is Rocket Boy. These stories couldn't be any different from each other. But he appears in Scoop Comics 2 and 3. And then in Punch Comics number 12 is a reprint of his first issue. And then Major Victory number 3 is his second story, which is kind of weird because he appeared, it was in January of 45, where he has his first appearance reprinted, and it isn't until July of that same year where they print out his second story. So why there's a big gap between reprinting the first and second story? I mean, why he didn't just appear in Punch Comics 12 and 13? I don't know. I don't know why there's a 6-month gap between the re-release of the first and the second story. But like I said, we're going to cover both issues. And the outfits are not too dissimilar with the reprints. They did update the coloring. They didn't change any of the text at all like you would see in some of the reprinted stories. It is a 1-for-1. And yes, they called it the helicopter in both times. And if you watched my last video on Rocket Man, you already know the issue I have with them calling the jetpack a helicopter. His name is Rocket Boy, not Helicopter Boy. Okay, I'm going to give a brief overview where I will show you the original and then the recoloring so you can see what they've changed on it a little bit. The reprint of the second story seems a little washed out, but you'll see when we put the comparison side by side. So let's go ahead and cover the partner, not partner, to Rocket Man with Rocket Boy. Okay, since I'm going to cover both of the stories, I don't really need to go into much about comparing the characters. Rocket Boy, Billy Woods, first appeared in Scoop Comics number 2 in 1942. Publisher was Chesler, and he was created by Unknown. Since we're going to go over both of them, I really don't need to go too much into him. He has 4 appearances. He's in Scoop Comics number 2 and 3. Punch Comics number 12, and Major Victory number 3. Now, I mean, the appearance in Punch and Major Victories are exact reprint 1-for-1s. The exact texts in the first two stories appear in the reprints. The colorization is a little different. In Major Victory, it seems a little washed out. Although I do like the design of the costume, the colorization in Major Victory #3, but most of the comic, it just feels like they washed it out a little bit. So, I mean, I don't know why they would just give this boy an experimental backpack. I mean, in the first issue of Scoop Comics, he says it was an experiment, and then the next issue of Scoop Comics, they're giving this kid his own rocket pack and apparently a costume, which I don't know how they got his size, and they're not even showing him how to use it. They just give it to him, and then I guess he's got to figure it out on his own. I don't understand it myself. Okay, here's a side-by-side of his first appearance, and here's a side-by-side of I'm going to put a side-by-side of the second appearance, so you can get an idea of what they did when they compared the two together. But like I said, since we're covering both of them, we don't need to go into a long, drawn-out explanation. A lot of the same stuff that I said that applied to Rocket Man applies to Rocket Boy, because he's not only... I mean, he's using their technology. He doesn't go on to Zip-Jet Comics or Jetman, as far as I've been able to tell. So I think he only exists in Chesler Comics. And I think he was on a character page in Project Superpower, but I don't remember him being part of the story. All right, let's cover the first two, first two and only. And we see the splash page, Rocket Boy. With the speed of a rocket, Billy Wood hurls himself into the titanic struggle to smash the sinister band of dock rats that prey on ships and warehouses along the waterfront. Over in the corner, you can see the Harry A. Chesler that appears on all their stuff. Billy Wood returns, home from a visit to a sick school chum. This is a bad section for a young man to be walking alone at midnight. Better get home, son. At midnight? Jesus Christ, when I was that age, my parents wanted me home by the time the lights came on. So he says that he's on his way home. Then the police officer gets alerted to some help in the building. So, of course, it's midnight. He shouldn't be out here. So he's going to follow the police officer. As the brave officer of the law, runs to investigate, Billy follows on his heels. Okay. So let's see the gag work. Here he comes with the brat. I want them taken alive. Wow. Okay. So they beat the police officer and beat him down, and then they take the kids hostage. Let's see. You're the copper that nabbed my brother and had him sent to the chair for murder. Black Pete's paying off for him. Go on, loudmouth. See if I care. So this was the same cop that got his brother to the electric chair. I mean, if he was on the electric chair, that means he killed somebody. You don't go to the electric chair for robbing banks or taking little old lady's money. So he committed a real big crime. Here, fellas, the first one to sink the knife in his head. Oh my God. Gets a bonus. Wow. I mean, that just reinforces my statement right there. So while they're around discussing it, Billy says, why, those murderers? Okay. So we see the cop up against the board here, and looks like there's a knife in his shoulder. Copper, now you know how my brother felt on the hot sheet. Shut up, kid. Take another shot at him, Slim. Your aim is rotten. So they got him pinned up against this wooden backdrop, and they're throwing the knives at him. Jesus, these guys. Okay, so Bullseye, Nick, you win the century note. I didn't know men like you lived. You know what? You'll never tell. So he's going to kill the kid. He's got a gun in his hand and everything. One of the other gangsters tells him that he should just let the boy go. And let's see, what was his name? He's Black Pete. Yeah, okay. So Black Pete knocks out the guy, but killing a child is too much for this hardened criminal. So the criminal tells the kid to get out of here because he's not going to kill a kid, and then Black Pete shoots him for it. So Billy runs home. Later at home, I'm assuming it's still nighttime because it's saying later at home, not the next day. You're as brave as your father, Billy. Poor dad's lost in the jungle 5 years now. Wow, that is an unnatural sentence to say to your child in the middle of the night, something that he already knows. But when I returned with the police, the gang was gone. So he called the police to get to the warehouse. And, Black Pete did shoot at the kid. They're already gone. So the package arrives and says, "We've learned of you, Billy. Here's something for you to use against Black Pete and the rest of his gang, Rocket Man and Rocket Girl." These guys were shooting at the kid with guns, and you just encouraged him to take experimental technology and fight them. This is incredibly irresponsible. You don't even show up to help him. I know having kids sidekicks in this age was a thing. It happened a lot. But he's not even a sidekick. He's doing this by himself. Okay. At one of the lighthouses off the dangerous Rocky Point, the husband comes back and he says that he found a piece of ambergris. And if you don't know what ambergris is, look it up. It's produced by sperm whales. It's very rare and highly sought after, very expensive. So they're talking about it. Let's see. The ambergris, the price will bring us enough to retire on. Yeah, you said it's going to get you 20 grand. In 1941, that's a lot of money. Hold on. So by today's conversion, that would be $440,000. Let's see, back at the tavern, the lighthouse calling the old couple are lonely and they want to gossip. We have more important things, tell them to shut up, but they listen in. And they talk about the ambergris being worth 20 grand, which is a lot of money by today's standards. I want to find this much ambergris. So he wants to rob the old couple. It's an easy job. They're old. 'Twill be easy picking. Okay, I don't have anything to say about your grammar, but the word twill, is it will? Is it a compound word? I looked up the word twill, and all it told me it was a form of texture weaving. I couldn't even find it under compound words. Anyways. Okay, so he's talking to somebody. We'll have that stuff in half an hour. Unseen, a silent sentry recognizes the fleeing figures. That's Black Pete. Wonder what new dirty work he's up to. So he follows them. It's not I wish it didn't call it a helicopter. And instantly, the husky rocket boy is propelled through the air by the powerful helicopter. At the lighthouse, an excited couple welcomes the approaching boats. I knew he'd be anxious to buy it from us. That must be the agent's boat, Sam. Okay, so he's acting like he's the agent. He wants to inspect the ambergris. And as soon as they show it to him, he knocks out the old guy and they take off with it. And the old lady is grabbing the shotgun off the wall. I think she intends to shoot him. Let's see, I'll quiet that hag. Stand where you are, I'll blast you all. Okay, you're using a handgun and she's got a shotgun. I think you're at a big disadvantage. Okay, so he's actually sneaking up behind her. So he was going to pistol whip her from what it's saying here. As the gun is about to crash down, the husky rocket boy. Why are you calling him that? I'll tear that mug apart for trying to hit an old lady. And as far as you go, what the? That's in case you decide on any more dirty work. So he crashes into Black Pete and... I mean, he doesn't look very affected at first. Let's slug the old dame and beat it. Oh yeah, watch this. So he's beating up the gang, and a shot rings out and puts out the lighthouse. So he's telling them that they won't get away, and he's like, "Stop, son, never mind them, the lights got to be fixed." So he takes a section of light and zooms up to the top so he can fix the light. We'll get rid of this stuff and skip to new parts. Who was that kid who butted in? Reminds me of the kid who got away the night we tossed the knives at the policeman. Oh yeah, well, I mean, you're not wrong. So the light gets repaired and he starts accosting the guys on the boat. Let's see. Get that imp. Try and do it. Don't encourage him. So he beats up the guy, and then he just takes off. Look, the kid's scared. He's leaving. And then right then, a police boat shows up. Okay, no wonder he left. The coppers, so the cops were phoned in about the robbery. The following day at the lighthouse, that quality was excellent. Here's a check for $20,000 for the ambergris. Now we have a little home. Now we can have a little home on the mainland. You got $20,000 in 1941. You're going to build more than just a little home. Okay, thanks to the brave Rocket Boy. And the very last panel. Son, it was wonderful of you to make two old people happy. I comment on that. Yes, Mother, but I have a bigger job yet. I must comb the jungles somehow. I believe Dad is still alive. Rocket Boy appears in Scoop Comics. And the second one, Rocket Boy. Chesler, Chesler on the top over there. Determined to seek out and learn the truth of his father's strange disappearance in the jungle of Africa, Billy Wood's husky little Rocket Boy braves the dark continent with grim determination to solve the mystery. Why do you keep calling him husky? I mean, isn't husky supposed to mean fat? I mean, maybe it meant something different in 1941, but I remember when you were wearing husky, it was so you didn't have to call someone fat. Kid's not even anywhere near fat. In the homes threatened by poverty, a struggle goes on in a mother's heart. I will help you get a good position, Miss Woods, and will legally adopt Billy. Perhaps that is the only way out. I don't know how to make ends meet. So she's going to get a position and apparently give up her son so that this guy can adopt him. And apparently he's a friend of Billy's father. I accept, and he's like, your father was a friend of mine, Billy. I'll give you the money to try to find him. I accept the amount that will cost for a plane ride, Mr. Pace. Okay, so Mr. Pace. The mother doesn't think that he should go because he's the only one left for her. He decides to get on the plane, and he's wearing his costume under his outfits. I'll wear my Rocket Boy uniform under my clothing just in case. Well, I mean, we know you're going to use it. Okay, so he boards on the plane. At the same time, a message is radioed. I'll read it back to you. Frank Morris, Transvaal, Africa. Billy Wood will arrive by Clipper. He is on the trail of his father. Give him all necessary help. You understand? Signed, Pace. Right. Okay. So we see him flying over, and when he gets there, this guy receives him. My name, Morris. I received a wire from Mr. Pace. I'm going to help all I can. Oh, that's very kind of you, Mr. Morris. And we find out that Mr. Morris is indeed double-crossing him. As soon as he takes him to the hut, him and a very, very, very stereotypized African guy jumps out. I mean, look at him. He's wearing a headband and a loincloth. I mean, is that how they looked in 1941? Okay, and this guy refers to himself as me. Me got everything ready. So he starts fighting off Mr. Morris, and the African guy goes after him. Let's see. He charges at him. Don't tell the world. I've got you, little devil. Wow, I don't think so. Me know how to catch little devil boy. I mean, so he catches him, and good work, Popo. Oh, good Lord. You have an African man who's very stereotypical, and you call him not even Mister. You call him Popo. Oh, I could spend a long time dissecting this, but I'd rather not. Okay, I promised to take you to your father, and I always keep my promises, so they throw him in the gorilla cage. Little boy in gorilla cage, him honored. Jesus. In the depths of the jungle, the strange caravan creeps. Okay, so we see him going through the jungle, we see the volcano, the snake, the tropical birds. At night, the caravan halts, so they take a breather overnight. He does decide that he wants to feed the boy, and then a hostile tribe attacks them. Let's see. As a man lives, so must he die. I'll take a few of these devils with me before I go. I mean, that's admirable. He says. So he starts shooting them as the spears start flying, and he does get stabbed by a spear. And just like any other character in the Golden Age, while they're dying, they're able to get out a large host of exposition. I mean, last words? No, last paragraphs. Okay. In his last moments, the gangster reveals the hiding place. I'm sinking fast. Listen, your father is a cat. And this is what he's saying as he is slowly dying. I'm sinking fast. Listen, your father is a captive 70 miles north of here. For years, we've been trying to make him reveal the location of his diamond mines, but he braves all torture. That's a lot to say while dying, and very specific location, too. Okay, so Billy takes off the outer uniform to have his Rocket Boy outfit underneath and starts taking off. One of the tribesmen, look, white devil! The astonishing natives free. Now it's my turn! And he starts beating up the natives for killing Mr. Morris. And he does a heck of a job, too. I'll teach you to kill. So after he beats them up, he goes into the air. Swiftly the helicopter. Yes, even in the reprinting ones that came out in 1945, they still called it a helicopter. Propels the boy through the air. That's the place. So we cut to the inside of the shack, and we see that a guy is being hung from his wrists and getting beaten. Tell me where the diamond deposit is located, and I'll give you food and drink. So since they said they were torturing him for the diamond mines, I'm assuming that this is Rocket Boy's father. So he's getting whipped again. No, every day for 6 months you have whipped me. I can't stand it. I can't. I mean, at first he says he wasn't going to reveal it because he would be betraying his secret to others. And then 2 panels next, don't, I'll tell. But the human flesh can only stand so much torture. I mean, he was being really brave, and then he decides to give in. But I mean, I've never been whipped for 6 months straight, so I don't really know how it feels. So he tells them of the location, and just then Rocket Boy swoops in and starts beating up the gangster. But before he can land a finishing blow, he runs out. Why fool around with a kid? I know how to take care of them. Dad, he's starved. So as the gangster runs out, there's a plate of food on the floor. Okay. And he gives some to his dad so he can eat. Easy, Dad. You'll be all right. I don't know how long he has been starving for, but he's scarfing that down. Okay, so he tells the other tribesmen that he's working for that he wants the lion wheeled over to the hut so he can release the lion on them. Hurry, we have a long trek ahead. So they take the lion and they release him into the hut. As he grrr, perhaps this will work. I've never been a lion. I'll never be a lion tamer when I grow up. So they beat the lion. He wraps the whip around his neck. He hung the lion. He hung him. That's a little dark. Okay. This won't hold long. I've got to get Dad out of here. So he says it's not going to hold very long, but this lion's tongue is hanging out of his mouth. Okay. We're reunited, son, but we have a great task ahead. Stevens is on his way to the diamond mine. We must not let him rob those who rightfully deserve their share. Well, then you shouldn't have told him the location. We'll rest the spell and then go after him, Dad. Rocket Boy appears in Scoop Comics. I really would have liked to seen a resolution to this. I mean, it's just... It never gets resolved. We never see if they beat the bad guy. We never see what happens to the diamond mine. We don't know what happens to the natives. I mean, it just... I don't know what happens to the lion. It just ends. There's no more stories. It's only the two. Well, I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned a little bit more. I always have enjoyed going over Chesler comics. They didn't have a large bit of publications, but they had an interesting publication run. And I've covered a number of Chesler characters. So if there's more Chesler characters that you want to see, I'm always willing to do that, and you can always leave me a request in the comment section. Until next time, I'll be seeing you.